we're talking about Elon was saying that he would need 9 fuel stops to get to the moon.
Correct. First, he said it's a historical and technological anomaly, meaning out of place according to logical progression of technology. And then he said with a taller rocket than the Saturn V, he's going to take at least minimum 8 fuel trips to go to the moon. And
Can you find out where he said that, Steve?
Well, yeah, and then we're actually going to show a NASA scientist saying it may take even more than that.
Okay.
So first of all, let's listen to this clip. So basically, Kelly Smith misspoke, got in trouble. He said the technology to go through the radiation has not been invented yet. We must solve these challenges before we send people through this region of space. They claim they looped around the equator through the belts. They're trying to make up for it now. So there it is right there.
Go to the headline. What does the headline say?
Yeah.
Elon Musk says it could take 8 Starship launches to fuel up a single moon trip.
And this is with a rocket that's slightly taller than the Saturn V. He's going to say it's going to take 8 of them. If you want to
zoom in, Steve, real quick. I also want to read the first part of this. Delivering astronauts to the moon is no easy feat, and it requires a disgusting amount of rocket fuel to pull it off. With its fuel tanks filled to the brim, NASA's Saturn V rockets weighed in 6.5 million pounds. During the Apollo missions almost half a century ago, it managed to burn up to 20 tons of rocket fuel every second. Fast forward several decades, and SpaceX CEO Elon Musk is trying to achieve similar greatness with the space company's Starship rocket. This time, it's going to take a lot of refueling to get there. SpaceX competitor Blue Origin recently griped that SpaceX might need as many as 16 launches to get to the moon. Holy crap.
Right. So Von Braun, and this is in my book, Moon Man, at my website, he said originally to go to the moon and one rocket is impossible. We're going to show a clip of that in just a second. And the minimum you could do would be 3 rockets, each weighing 800,000 tons, being taller than the Empire State Building. The Saturn V only weighed 2,500 tons instead of 800,000 tons times 3. So that's a difference of 32,000% times 3. Take a look at this clip. Just like Kelly Smith misspoke and accidentally told the truth, the technology to go to the moon through the radiation belts has not been invented yet. Here's an astronaut saying the best we can do with 50 years better technology is orbit the Earth, and we hope to go to the moon eventually. We'll take a listen.
Right now, we only can fly in Earth orbit. That's the farthest that we can go. And this new system that we're building is going to allow us to go beyond and hopefully take humans into the solar system to explore. So the moon, Mars, asteroids, there's a lot of destinations that we could go to, and we're building these building block components in order to allow us to do that eventually.
Yeah, he just said they hope to go to the moon eventually. Now take a look at this clip from Von Braun himself saying the largest rocket that you can build can only achieve Earth orbit, and that's exactly what Elon Musk said. It's going to take 8 trips. Take a listen.
Here to reveal a plan for a trip around the moon is the chief of the guided missile development at the United States Army's Redstone Arsenal, Dr. Werner von Braun.
A voyage around the moon must be made in 2 phases. A rocket ship taking off from the Earth's surface will use almost all the fuel it can carry just to attain a speed great enough to balance the pull of gravity. Unpowered, it will then keep circling the Earth in an orbit outside of the atmosphere. This is the first phase. However, if we can refuel the ship in this orbit with fuel brought up by cargo rocket ships, it can set out on the second phase, the trip around the moon and back.
So each one of those 9 rockets Elon's talking about would have to be full of fuel
In order to have enough fuel to leave Earth orbit and go to the moon.
But so just to make sure I'm following, the first one would be able to get with full of fuel, would be able to get into orbit.
That's it.
The next one would have to go, I'm assuming would be able to go the same distance, fuel the one up in orbit.
At least 8. At least 8 trips of fuel.
So after it fuels it up again, I guess they can hit the blasters and go even farther. But then you have to send another one up twice as far to fuel it up again, right?
Well, then you need fuel to land on the moon and to leave the moon,
Right.
which they didn't have. This is why NASA destroyed all the technology. It's one of the clips at Sabrel.com, a NASA engineer saying, we intentionally destroyed all of the moon landing technology. Now, if they were ever going to destroy a technology, you might do that with the atomic bomb, right? We used it to end the war, but let's not do
Right.
that again.
Sure.
And yet, just 10 years later, atomic bombs are 1,000 times more powerful. You see? So if they really went to the moon, the last thing they would do would be to destroy all the technology.
Right.
They destroyed the technology. They destroyed the telemetry data where the rocket really was. They destroyed all of the original videotapes, which you would never do if you really went, but that's exactly what you would do if you were faking it. So that's actually incidental proof that they faked it as well. Now look at
And
this.
who specifically said that it was all destroyed?
That's a clip. If you want to go to Sabrel.com, Moonman video links, look for the one NASA admits they destroyed the technology. His name is Don Pettit.
And how much did it cost to put the
In today's dollars, $250 billion.
$250 billion?
Yeah, so you can imagine, would Bill Gates spend $250 billion making the first AI? Hey, that worked great, and then throw the schematics, the blueprints, and the hardware in the furnace. You would never do that, but that's what they did with the moon technology because you could prove, like we're proving now, it didn't have enough fuel to leave Earth orbit, doesn't have the radiation protection, it can't have the lunar module combat 250 degrees outside with air conditioning on a bunch of car batteries. It didn't even have enough fuel to leave the lunar surface. It was only 2 aluminum foil thickness in the spacecraft. Would you even get into a spacecraft that was the thickness of 2 pieces of aluminum foil where your elbow or your knee or your finger
I thought it was.
accidentally go?
I thought it was 1/8 of an inch.
No, that's the shielding on the spacecraft, but they're talking about the lunar module itself. You're talking about the command module. The lunar module itself was only the thickness of 2 pieces of aluminum foil. Would anyone even get into that? Now, this clip below, it says NASA engineer, multiple fuel trips needed. Start that at 28:55. This just came out. Okay. NASA, it's the one in the last email I sent you. It says modern NASA engineer, multiple fuel trips needed. At 28:55. Go ahead and take a listen for 1 full minute.
Really interesting. And then I started trying to understand the architecture to get there. Okay? I did not understand until this week when I really thought I was going to embarrass myself in front of you guys and then decided to further embarrass myself in front of you guys. I didn't realize that in order to get the human lander to the moon, we have to launch a bunch of additional rockets to tank up in low Earth orbit. I didn't know that. And I'm like, well, how many rockets do we have to do that with? And they're like, 6. And then I start, because I know people, I start calling people. I was like, dude, really, how many rockets is it? They're like, well, boil off. And okay, so I was like, some people were like, well, it's looking like 8. I was like, 8 rockets? We have to fire 8 rockets to fire 1 rocket to the moon? And then they're like, I mean, that's what they're saying, but it's probably more like 12. Really? And then I was like, I'm an engineer. I know how to do this stuff. So I started to do a count for like nominal schedule slip and boil off. And this is how many rockets it's going to take to fuel up that thing to get it to the moon.
So you can pause there.
If you had any questions.
So he said he did the math. It's going to take up to 24 rockets taller than the Saturn V to go to the moon. You see that? This is why they destroyed all the schematics, the blueprints, and everything in the attempt to cover up the fact that it's technologically impossible to go to the moon with the Saturn V rocket, which he just proved. That you saw the Saturn V was smaller than Elon Musk's rocket, and it's going to take 24 rockets taller than the Saturn V to have enough fuel to go to the moon. Are we convinced yet?